last year's race. It's lights out, and both Red Bulls get an amazing start off the line. Sergio immediately fighting.
Sorry.
Salute.
That came out of nowhere. Usually there's two, so.
You sneezed because I said Sergio?
Yeah.
I said it again.
Quit saying his name.
You're right. He who shall not be named immediately fighting Charles for second place. Russell and Antonelli were hit with a one-place grid penalty after the race because they were in the fast lane of the pits before the restart timer started.
You say he's not a dark horse, as in, like, you don't think he's going to win WDC?
No, he could at some point, but like this year, it's going to be hard pressed for it to not be Oscar Orlando.
Driver of the day. I did vote Oliver Behrman for driver of the day, and I do believe he earned it.
I think that's a great vote.
That was.
I mean, he started P18, right?
20.
Oh, it was.
He was
last.
dead
Okay.
last. He started P20 and drove up to P10.
Liam got the Red Bull seat, and I didn't dislike him. I just disliked Red Bull more, and that kind of bled into disliking Liam a little bit because it's like, why are you in the Red Bull seat if you can't drive it? Because he couldn't drive it.
Get laced up.
Let's go.
It's time for Banter with the boys.
Yo, 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 welcome back to Banter with the Boys Fast Laps, where we got the Bahrain recap, Saudi Arabian preview. I'll let Joe stick to the actual titles of the races and up to speed, of course. Speaking of Joe, he's here this week.
I am.
Sweet.
I made it.
No, I'm just kidding. Joe, welcome back as always, Joe.
I'm here.
You are here. You are here. Joe is here. And also here is Mike on the other side of the table. Mike.
Hello.
What is going on, Mike?
Hello, I am also here.
Also, Mike is also here. He is present.
Who else is here?
Present.
Hello.
Smelty's here.
Smelty's here, of course,
here.
as always. And Kev
Kev's
behind
here.
the camera. Kev Cam is not up yet, nor is Kev Mike. So you will not hear him cussing us out yet. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Bahrain GP recap. Yeah, Kev, let's head right into it. And we're back. All right.
No continuity issues here.
No, everything's great.
Everything's the same.
Great. Are we back? I should say that as a question mark. We're back? We're back?
We are so back.
No technical problems. We're going crazy. All right. Let's see. Typical pre-race banter, quality practice. Did you see anything that jumps out to you that you're excited? Joe's pulling out his highlighted notes.
I did, yes.
So why don't we start there?
So first off, this is not just before we get into F1 because we're not going to want to talk about it after the fact. McLaren announced they are going to the World Endurance Championship in 2027. McLaren's going back to Le Mans, baby.
Wow, I did not hear that.
That's fun stuff. Le Mans, I don't know if you guys ever watch it. It's 24 hours. It's crazy.
I don't usually watch it the full 24, you know?
That's fair. Yeah, I mean,
typically,
you know,
most people don't.
Same with Rolex 24. I don't really watch the whole thing.
No.
But
Yeah, no. I catch a good, I catch probably 18 hours of it. I think, 1 year I caught a ton of it, and then I went to bed, and then I woke up. That year there was, there were more safety cars than the actual race itself. So anyway, that's one of the biggest notes. Now talking about F1 specifically,
fast laps,
FP2, Alonso had his wheel come off the car while he was driving. He was having some technical issues. His wheel came off and he put it back on, and he kept on going. I made a note of one of the comments that the commentator made. They said, "While it is off with the car moving, you have no directional control."
That's new.
no way.
That's like a Will Buxton moment, and he's not in
my
F1 anymore.
God.
He's in Indy.
So glad they taught me that.
His spirit is here.
Unbelievable.
I had no clue.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Without a steering wheel, you can't turn. Guys.
We've been doing it wrong.
Anyway, quali Esteban crashed in Q2. Hulk got a lap deleted from Q1 while they were in Q3, which pushed him below Albon. But Albon did not get to compete in Q2, even though he technically was in Q2 because of the.
Hulk get the lap?
I think it was just track limits. Yeah,
which was a big issue in the GP, as we'll get into. But.
Yes. I mean, we'll talk about this a couple times today. Probably they got to be quicker on this stuff. It's ridiculous. Like Albon, he could have placed higher, right?
Yeah,
that's not
a
fair.
shame.
Besides that, Russell and Antonelli were hit with a one-place grid penalty after the race because they were in the fast lane of the pits before the restart timer started, or the restart time was announced. So just one other little tidbit pre-race, but that's all I have until the race came up.
That was
Yeah, and then lots of things happened.
we were watching. It was like we watched quali and like I think you were the one that commented that like when the drivers went out that the stake pit wall was like what are they doing? Where are they going?
Wait, when was this?
This was during quali when Russell and Kimi went out after Esteban crashed and there was the safety car.
Okay.
And so technically they weren't supposed to go out yet.
Sure,
and they
sure.
did. That's what they
Yeah,
got the
so
one
the whole,
place
the
penalty
whole
for.
pit
Right,
wall,
that's why I
like
got
you
the
just saw them
penalty.
like lean back and just look at the cars and go, yeah.
Oh my god. With that, let's head into the GP here. Let's see. I mean, to start off, we just mentioned some of these penalties here. Ridiculous amount of track limits. I mean, I think almost everybody got a warning. It felt like Max was getting close to a black white flag himself. So let's see. We had Lando who had the 5 seconds for being out of position at the start, which Max, the steward, caught.
Instantly.
And was instantly telling somebody about it. But he was right.
It was
right.
pretty blatant. Like, they showed his POV, and I was like, yeah, I wouldn't have missed that either.
No, for sure. Let's see. Isaac and Antonelli both ended up getting black and white flag. Are they the only ones that got the black
Lando
and white?
also got one.
Lando did get one
Yeah,
too. Okay.
I want to say one other person got one, but yeah, I remember Lando getting one because like he was fighting George.
Why was this such a massive problem? Now, I know Antonelli, like, honestly was racing fairly aggressive.
So it's
more aggressive than I've seen him race yet this season, which was kind of fun, but we can get into that later. But so many, like, why is this such an issue here?
So one of the reasons, it's a good reason, there was a lot of really hard fighting between drivers, and
For sure.
people were getting pushed off track quite a bit, and that's why Lando got to black and white so quickly, is because he was fighting with Charles.
I'm pretty sure it was Charles.
And he went off track. He had to give position back to Charles at one point because he went off track. And that's that's not just like a racing incident. That is that is track limits no matter what. Like you go off track, even if you lock up, you go off track, that's going to be track limits. And there was a couple of lockups too, I will say. There were a few of those we saw as well. But good fighting being one, and then the other one, we have
fighting.
5 rookies on the grid. And we have
Things are going to happen.
We have a broken Red Bull on the grid, so
it's also worth noting that Bahrain is in the desert, and because of that, there is a lot more sand that gets on the track, and that affects tire grip and whatnot. And Bahrain is already a track that drivers tend to spend a lot of time on the edge of the track. They go on the white line pretty frequently, and so some of that sand just means that they're bound to try and take the corners a little bit wider where they can so that they don't slide.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much sand actually does end up on the track.
A little bit. It's enough to affect the tires.
For sure.
So
I mean, when you're going high G's and corners and stuff, it's going to affect things.
They're going so fast that it just turns to glass at that point.
It's gotta
There's
go.
glass on the road. That's
Hey-o. Anyway, Liam, you're right. Liam, lap 54, ended up getting a 5-second penalty for causing a collision. And then another 10 seconds. I'm sorry, I think the 10-second came at lap 54. I think the 5-second was earlier.
Well, yeah, so 41 was his 5-second,
yeah.
and 54 was his 10-second, and both were for causing a collision.
Whoops.
Yep.
One of them with Hulkenberg, who also ended up getting DNF'd. But so Liam ended up having a decent finish, but just drops him.
Oh, Hulkenberg finished. He just disqualified. Yeah.
Got disqualified after the race, but Liam had a decent finish, but then ended up, because of the time limits, get pushed back down. But then gained one because of Hulk, so whatever. Let's see. We had a safety car this race. That was wild. I feel like we have not seen that very often yet this season.
I think the commentators
Definitely not the first one, I don't think.
I think the commentators said that this was like the 4th safety car we've seen this late on the track on Bahrain, or this late in the race in Bahrain. Like, safety cars just don't happen that late in Bahrain very frequently. So, very...
I mean, it did restack everybody. It was interesting to get a restart. I mean, again, the start of the race plus the restart heading into the first turn, just pure insanity and chaos.
It's fun.
But
was very
the
fun.
drivers with the most skill came out on top both times, I would say.
And just with the better strategy, like, I mean, first and foremost, both McLarens had new mediums. No one else had new mediums. So that was the best tire for this track, at least for that length of time.
Yep.
And then Piastri had clean air, so no one was catching him. Yeah, and then
yeah,
you know,
Oscar was dominant.
yeah,
We
he was
can just
dominant.
get into McLaren if you want.
Sure, yeah, let's go for it.
Go for it. You're McLaren
yeah, Oscar
fanboy.
dominant. He stuck it in first, and he did not move. It's a McLaren in clean air. I think that's just kind of that's where they are most dominant at the moment, and also mediums too. Like they seem to be really good on mediums. And then Lando with the unfortunate 5-second penalty. If he didn't get that penalty, he would have finished P2. I think fairly handedly, he would have had it by safety car restart.
Well, by the safety car restart, you think?
Uh,
Because George was fairly dominant until he started having the issues at the end.
yeah, but I
think he
looking at
coulda
their
held him
times,
off.
there were many times when he was within 5 seconds, and obviously he would have to fight.
Sure.
But you know, I think there are definitely times beforehand where
By the end of the race,
Coulda
for
made
sure,
the
I
move.
give that
Yeah.
100%. But
Well, yeah, George himself had said in the post-race interview that he's like, yeah, give it another lap or two, and I don't know if I could have fought Lando off.
yeah, George had those softs, and we'll talk about Mercedes in a second as well. But I mean, still P1, P3, very good
Podium sweep.
result. Yeah, podium sweep.
Sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lando
Yeah.
keeps his lead. Oscar slots in right behind him.
Oscar again showing pace, though.
Yep.
Better pace than Lando.
3 points.
And it was the
3
whole
points
weekend.
from Oscar.
3 points from Oscar.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, it's a McLaren driver, right?
Yep.
And that's, I mean, if we are Lando, then yeah, we're a little worried because Oscar he's fast.
If we're Oscar, we're feeling good because if Oscar had finished in P2 like he probably should have in Melbourne, Oscar would be leading
Yep.
constructors right now by, if I remember correctly, like 10 points.
WDC. Yeah.
Or WDC, yep.
I'm going to
WDC.
stand on it. It's going to be an issue. At some point, it's going to be an issue. And
I
they're going to
mean,
have to, like,
They've done well so far,
publicly.
right?
For sure. For sure.
We've seen a couple moments when, I mean, last race,
But
not Bahrain,
but sorry.
Oscar did say, no, you're good. Oscar did ask, like, hey, I can probably catch Max, and like,
they just ignored
they
it pretty
kind of
much.
ignored him.
I know.
so-
And that I'm not okay with. Like, that to me, that's them picking Lando, which we already know. Like, for me, this season, it feels like they would pick Lando anyway. But it's going to be difficult if Oscar continues to show better pace.
I could see them picking Lando, but I don't think they're going to remove Oscar's chance. Like they're not going to intentionally,
Like if
bog his race
if
down.
they're both like 15 seconds ahead, are you
They're
giving it
good.
to?
Let 'em
And
race.
Oscar's
If they're
leading
15
the race.
seconds ahead, let them race. Oh, they
I
should
agree.
not. They should not be doing any driver's orders by any means. If they are both still 1-2 in the championship,
Yep.
you need to let them race.
Yep.
I would
you
agree.
do not do team orders in
agree.
that situation, especially if you're 15 seconds ahead. You tell them to race smart. You tell them not to crash.
Right.
But you
Let's
don't give
both
them orders.
finish.
I also think though you don't tell them to keep position either. Like you let them race.
You almost don't say anything.
Right.
Just see what happens.
Yeah.
But ideally, maybe remind them if it starts getting dicey. Hey, play
But
nice.
you get one of the
know.
drivers that says, "Hey, I'm faster than the guy in front." Tell them to,
There's
info.
There's a different content creator who I watch who's been calling this for a little while, that he said that, these two drivers are going to be going at each other. And if you're Lando, you're a little, like maybe a little stressed out by this because this new hot gun that shows up and is really
That's
putting
what
up
I'm
great
saying.
results.
I agree. Whoever that
And
guy is.
he's attributing this, and he's like, we've seen something like this happen once before, and it was Senna Prost. When those two showed up, and like this was the exact same situation where one was the veteran, the other one showed up and just got the good car, and then it was like a big heated argument, and then the two drivers started having big problems with each other, and he's like, I hope we don't see that, but also it would be a little spicy,
And this is nowhere near the same as Senna Prost, right? But Danny Rick and Max, when Max first came, it was a similar thing. All of a sudden, Max, they're not finishing races because of it.
I mean, just
And
look at it.
that would become a problem. And that I agree. I don't see that happening. I don't think they're going to be wrecking each other. But I just think it's going to be difficult at some point. Again, as a McLaren fan, you're probably thrilled. Like, this is awesome. Cloud 9. Constructors has already won.
I don't at this point. I don't really I cared that one of them wins WDC.
For
I
sure.
don't care which one. I'd be just as happy to see Oscar.
For sure.
I've been these last 2 years. I've become a huge Oscar fan, like almost to the point of Lando, if not surpassing Lando. Sometimes
Whoops.
I love Oscar Piastri. I think he's such a good driver, and he's just a natural talent. I do hope that
You
because
love
he's
him,
been
huh?
in that car for 3 years, and they've been together, and they seem to have pretty good camaraderie, and a decent relationship at least. I don't think they're the best of friends ever, but like they don't dislike each other.
They get along well.
I would hope that keeps things at least nice and breezy between them off track, and then on track they can do what they do best and race. I think I'm actually a little afraid to say this. I think Oscar might sometimes I think he's more refined than Lando. Sometimes. I mean, the weird.
Interesting.
It was a weird issue with that 5-second penalty right off the bat. Like, I don't see Oscar doing that a lot.
Just
But
like
I've seen Lando.
starts, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, but that's
Lando
the thing.
has always historically not awesome at starts, so it's like
It
when it happened,
yeah.
I was like, whatever. He's still in a fast car. He'll be able to battle back up, and we saw him do that. But
You're so right, and it sucks because he actually had an amazing race start.
Such a good
start.
But
He
it was
did, he
ruined.
did.
It was ruined because he was a little bit ahead of the box. Yeah, it's tough. We don't see Oscar. My point is we don't see Oscar do that. He's like relatively consistent. I think like overall skill maybe a little behind Lando, but I think he doesn't make the weird mistakes that Lando does consistently.
sure.
So that's kind of my McLaren take. I'm still happy if either of them win. Obviously, I'm a very happy guy right now. Both of my drivers are top 2 and they're in constructors lead. Like
Yeah.
I'm good.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. As a
I'm
McLaren
happy.
fan, I did just put in one little tidbit. I said, Zach Brown must be tickled pink thinking about where this team has come over the past few years. I mean,
It's got to
Yeah.
feel good.
just again, the cloud 9 feeling, 1-3.
I mean,
with
this-
one being dominant. This race.
Bahrain
You're
last
feeling
year.
good.
Bahrain last year, they weren't fighting for the win.
No,
So
Yeah.
no. And right now, teams are trying to figure out how to fight for the win
Yep.
against them. So, Mercedes, George Russell going P2, Kimi P11. George honestly had a great day. Again, yes, towards the end, he was having some malfunctions, the whole DRS thing. I think the engineer basically came on the comms and was like, "Hey, you're gonna lose your screen and everything. Just keep going."
Yep.
And then he made the joke or something about, "Well, at least as long as my steering wheel doesn't fall off."
Yeah, that
no,
was
yeah,
such a great
I was gonna save it, but you
dang it.
No, you're good. You're good.
Good call though.
No,
That's,
he called it.
it was hilarious.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So funny.
But George Russell again, another great, just great race all the way around. Great weekend all the way around. Consistent. He's just more and more consistent. And I mean, I don't think dark horse for WDC by any means, but I think he could win a race or two this year.
Of
I don't
course.
see why not. When
wait.
McLarens wreck each other.
I'm sorry, you say he's not a dark horse, as in like you don't think he's
I
going to
don't
win
think-
WDC?
No, he could at some point, but like this year, it's going to be hard pressed for it to not be Oscar or Lando.
Interesting.
But I think he'll be could battle, but I don't think it's going to be
each
right.
coming race. I'm seeing it more and more that I'm like, this might be Oscar's year.
But
He might-
that's
we're
what I
talking about-
mean. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about George.
though.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't know.
George,
I don't know why my brain
Did I say
associated Oscar.
Oscar?
What the heck?
No, you did.
Oh,
No,
okay.
this is totally
That's a
me.
Mike thing,
This
yeah.
is
I was like, dang.
my
I'm
brain.
going
My brain
nuts.
went somewhere else. No, okay, George is entirely different. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
personally don't really see him as much of a WDC champion. I see him as someone who
At all ever.
I don't think he's going to win a WDC. No, especially given our
I think
field.
he could. I think he could.
Especially given our field, unless the Mercedes comes out next year, just guns ablazing.
And that's just it. We have no idea.
Exactly.
We have no idea.
Like,
it could be Alpine. No, I'm just kidding.
I
But
need-
we have no idea.
I need a 2016 Mercedes for him to win a WDC championship.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm
Fair
saying.
enough.
It's like
fair enough.
But we know he can drive it.
we know he can drive it. I
Yeah.
know if he's got a super dominant car and the other field isn't as dominant, he's capable. But if it comes down to just raw talent, I don't think it's there. I think he's incredibly talented, but he's not as talented as like a Max Verstappen, as like a Lewis Hamilton, as like a Charles Leclerc, as a potentially Oscar Piastri.
Fair enough. What about Kimi? Kimi P11, just outside the points. I thought he had a decent race.
He had a good race.
My only concern, and I only bring this up, so I coach football for those of you in other countries. American football is what I coach. But like sometimes these kids are running, and when they're running, they're not they're like running out of control, if that makes sense. You know, arms flailing, legs flailing. They're not in control of their bodies. And that's kind of how I felt about Kimi. Like he wasn't fully in control of the car. It just felt like he was taking chances all race. They were mostly working. You know, there was the one point early on where he flew off the track. It might have even been lap 1. I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember
And then gave the place back right away. I think it was to Pierre, so that's probably why I remember it. But you know, he just didn't feel fully in control. But it was nice seeing him take more chances, though, at the same time. So I think he's just getting more and more comfortable with the car to the point where now he is going to start taking maybe a little bit, couple more chances.
No, yeah, I agree. I think this was, in my opinion, probably one of his best showings. And I think
For sure.
he was just a little, I think he was messed up by strategy. Just looking at the stats, he was the only one except for Sainz who DNF'd that had 3 pit stops. So he just had, unfortunately, unlucky strategy. He would have been higher if he was on a 2-stop like everyone else. And he had some really, really good overtakes.
Kimi?
Yeah. He was
for sure.
he was driving.
Yep.
I think I voted for him for driver of the day as well. Because I just liked what he was doing. He was making moves and he just got caught out for, you know, unfortunate strategy. Or just bad timing.
And
I
he,
think
and he started the race really well. I mean,
He did.
battling the Ferraris and everything. I mean, looked good. He looked good. Let's see. Ferrari. I don't actually have any notes on Ferrari for some reason. I see. So Charles P4, Lewis P5. I guess that's what we're expecting out of them.
It's what they
at
want.
this point. So, what do you mean that's what they want?
It's what they want right now. Like given where their car is at and where the rest of the field is at, this is good until they nail down whatever this.
You finished in front of Red Bull.
They
Both
finished-
Red Bulls.
Yep, and in front of a Mercedes. Like they're close to the podium. You see Charles Leclerc is getting closer and closer to that podium with every race.
Oh, I'm aware.
So
I don't
he
think he's
was-
going to win WTC. But
yeah, I might have given Ferrari a little too much chutzpah at the
that's
start
what I
of this,
said,
but-
right? There's the constructors.
No, yeah, he's right there. You see where it says Charles right
See where
underneath
it
your
says
name?
Charles at the top there. Yeah.
Joe, I think you're. You know what? This is pish posh. I don't know what this is.
crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. That's
think
his
this is
Lando right there.
actually from when we did this. So
This doesn't mean anything.
Don't worry about
yeah.
that. Just
so,
ignore that.
Ferrari, good for you. 4-5.
Good race.
Ooh, interesting. The top 3 are exactly what they're at right now, for me at least. That's cool, right, guys? It's pretty cool.
Where are we?
The Max Bulls, Red
It's been
Bulls.
5 races.
Max P6, Yuki P9.
That car was broken this weekend.
My only note is Max a rubbish start for once. His start was horrible. I had to go back and watch it again just for his start because I was like, how the heck did he fall back so far? And it was just bad. I've never seen him start so bad. I don't think that got to be the worst start I've ever seen.
Incredibly,
for
he
him.
is a human.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. He just did battling the car, and I think Yuki getting in points is huge this week. Yeah, we said he needed to start getting in points, but again, along the broken car aspect, like Yuki drove the crap out of the car too just to get into points. So
I mean-
again with Haas, we'll get to Haas P8 and P10, but Haas actually had some pace, and you know battling Haas this weekend would have been no joke. So
Yep.
again, Yuki getting in P9, I think that's fair for where this car's at. Obviously, there's some news about Max and stuff, but we'll save that maybe. But like, is Red Bull really concerned right now about the performance of this car for the rest of the season, or are they kind of let's ride it out, let's get maybe second or third in the constructors and get ready for 26?
I think they should be
I
concerned.
mean, we're only 4 races in, but people are like freaking out.
I think they should be concerned, because it's not good timing. You had so many driver swaps all of a sudden. Like for a long time, your biggest worry was your second driver, and now honestly, it's not. I think Yuki has more or less he's met my expectations. Like,
He's already beating what Liam would have gave you this race for sure.
100%.
So done.
They need to even if they're not competitive all the time with first place. They need to fix the car, at least for Yuki's sake, right? He needs to be able to drive it and get them decent points for constructors.
And maybe for Max's sake.
Well, yeah. Oh,
right.
yeah. For Max's sake as well. I'm only saying for Yuki's sake because Max seemingly can drive a tractor.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Max can drive a clapped out Honda Civic and beat anybody.
Yeah.
As long as the light turns green.
Right. Let's see. Alpine. Woohoo!
Look at
Gasly. Man, that was awesome.
points,
Honestly, and honestly, Max passing Gasly at the end of the race really frustrated me. Like, I was really excited for P6, and then I got extremely disappointed as soon as, like, because they didn't show it.
No,
they
they
didn't
didn't.
show the actual battle, but they showed it in the highlight video, funny enough.
Oh, they
But-
did.
But watching the race, like, I didn't see it.
Right after, or like
Unless they
towards-
showed it for like 2 seconds and then went to something else.
right
But
after the
I
race.
missed it.
They showed it again.
did they? I
Yeah,
must have
they
missed
did-
that
they
then,
did a
'cause
quick-
I watched the interviews and stuff.
They did
I
a
must
quick
have missed
recap of it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." So Max just was Max.
Yeah,
like
'cause
there was no fighting that.
it. No, because I was like watching the little thing on the you know the freaking what
Timing tower.
Timing
the
tower?
timing tower. Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah, I got
I was
you.
watching that for the end of the race for Gasly. Like, come on.
was doing
And
the
then it
same thing.
switched. I was like, dang it.
Doing the
But,
same thing. buddy.
yeah. So anyway, Gasly getting P7. I'm still happy about it. Don't get me wrong. Okay, so Jack Doohan, P14. Jack Doohan in this race gained me. I'll give him at least 2 more races before I'm putting Colapinto in there because of this race. I think I saw enough from Jack. Like, yeah, he gave up like 5 spots in like the course of like a lap or 2. But I think his tires were just garbage. He couldn't handle the car anymore, whatever. But until that point, he was running P9 most of the race and battling, again, the Haas, which had some pace, being able to beat out the Williams, which just straight up didn't look good in the GP compared to the quali. I didn't think so. I mean, Albon was running well for a while, but Carlos didn't.
Albon-
Now I'm starting to talk about Williams. But,
Well, yeah, we'll talk about Williams when we get there. That's a good point. Yeah, thank you. Keep
but
me on track.
anyway, but Alpine, again, Jack, I think, earned 2 more races from me. Are you guys ready to pull Jack out of the car? Put Colapinto in there.
Have you heard the word from Alpine?
What the word? The bird? What?
The bird is the word. The
Yeah.
jackbird.
Jackbird.
Alpine has pretty much come out and stated the fact that while Flavio is seemingly eager to put Colapinto in the car, the management and the team principal what's his name again? I'm losing it.
Team principal for Alpine?
Alpine
Isn't that Oaks?
Oaks. Yeah, Jonathan Oaks. Yeah.
Oliver Oaks?
Oliver Oaks.
Oliver Oaks.
Oliver Oaks. Yeah, him and the rest of management for Alpine was like, Flavio, shut up. We're keeping Jack here until at
How
least
did I not see this?
the summer break to give
Thank
him a
you.
bit of a grace period for him to learn the car.
I'm about
We
it.
have expectations for our driver, and we do think that right now he is meeting those expectations. So unless things change, you can expect to see Jack Doohan in the car until the summer break at least.
I'm about that. Thank God you
So-
told me some Alpine news today.
So that was
follow
kind of the
everything.
good news. Yeah. That was kind of the good news for Alpine and for Jack especially, who probably heard this and was like,
but now you got to perform again next week. I'm not saying you got to get in points.
yes.
But for me, an expectation for Jack is P10 to P13. You got to be in that window.
Okay.
For me, you got to be battling in that window.
Well, given what we've seen out of the Alpine so far this weekend, this year, this last
We're
weekend
starting
was,
to trend in the right
that was
direction.
it was a good
you know.
look. It was a
Yeah.
good look, and he looked fast in quali for a little bit.
P11, right? I
Like
think he ended up getting
something
quali,
like that.
so
Yeah, like he looked pretty
one
quick.
outside Q1.
No,
so
yeah.
I
you know.
remember like being
Or Q3.
mind boggled when I saw at one point that he set a lap and he was like second fastest, and I was like, "I'm sorry, does that say do?"
Is that
like-
like call Pinto?
No, that's not my Jack doing.
Not my Jack doing. Oh my God. Haas, go.
Haas, yeah, this was an amazing race. I'm super happy. Cars were amazing. Joe talked a little bit about driver of the day. I did vote Oliver Behrman for driver of the day, and I do believe he earned it.
I think that's a great vote.
That was-
I mean, he
he-
started P18, right? Or
20.
19? Oh, it was
He was
last.
dead
Okay.
last. He
Yeah.
started P20 and drove up to P10 with some help from a safety car. Admittedly, Haas did get some advantages from the safety car, but that's just kind of how it goes. And so both drivers drove really good. They put themselves up in the points. They kept themselves in the points with Esteban's case. Double point finish, and they are now 5th in constructors, 1 point ahead of
Whoa.
Williams, which
Whoa.
is incredibly right where I put them. Ain't that right, Joe? I see you taking notes.
Did you?
That's
No.
crazy.
We don't listen to that list. It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, I got to give it to you. And I was going to mention this earlier because he pops up in the Saudi Arabian recap or from last year, and it was his first race in a Ferrari in F1.
Yep.
he raced like he was in a Ferrari, yes, but not anyone can just do what he did. He raced really well, so you got to give him some pointers. 20th to 10th is an amazing
Massive.
feat. Again, safety car helped him a lot, but still, he made some overtakes. He kept it out of the wall and on the street. No, great finish for Behrman.
Yep.
I will say, and I'm very surprised. I like Haas too.
Yep.
I just think their track record is awful, right? Typically.
Oh
Pretty
yeah,
bad.
for sure.
Yeah.
This year and last year have been crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's like we would not have expected that. Like last year, I think I also put Haas
Yeah.
at like 9th, just ahead
Oh,
of
for sure.
just ahead of State.
It's very much just their driver lineup. Like, and I'm comparing them specifically against I think Williams. Their driver
Right.
lineup does not impress me as much as Williams does.
Which is valid.
But I got they're driving the car better than Williams at the moment.
But,
so,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say
And-
that's just it. I mean, Esteban was in points or in the top. Yeah, in points for at least 50% of the race, if not more than that.
I think he dropped a position because he.
I thought he dropped.
qualified?
I mean, everybody drops a little bit.
I don't
when you
remember
pit,
where he
obviously,
qualified at, but
Who?
yeah, Esteban.
I can check really quick.
Thank
I have
you.
it up. Yeah. Esteban started in 14th.
Oh, so he
Yeah, that's
actually
what I
made
mean.
a bunch of positions.
That's
Yeah,
what I mean.
that's
So
right.
he climbed up there and then he stayed up there for a
Yeah.
while. And,
And he
I
held
thought
it.
he dropped one more time and then had to climb back up. But I mean, Esteban had a great race.
Yeah, like
So-
so both drivers like making their way up the pack and keeping their positions all the way to the end. And as I mentioned, I think off pod earlier, Haas is still having underbody problems. So their car is still not yet refined. So they
And you're
stated
still
that-
scoring points.
and we're still
and not getting DQ'd.
exactly. So like
So win.
the fact that our drivers are putting up these sorts of results with a semi-broken car makes me very hopeful for the rest of the season.
For sure. For sure.
5th, baby.
Williams, Albon finishing P12. Carlos retired. How much, like, I don't know. I was gonna say some wild stuff like how much
Say it.
leash do we actually give Carlos?
As much
But-
leash as he wants.
But like the car obviously
smooth
isn't
operator.
amazing. But
Carlos
I mean, Albon
Sainz-
has had some good runs this year already. So it's just, is it just he's just still getting used to it?
yeah, Carlos Sainz I think is holding the leash. I don't think anyone's going to kick him out.
Yep.
Well, nobody's
at
gonna
all,
kick him
right?
out, but
I would have expected him to I mean, he was running pretty decently up until he crashed and broke his car and had to retire.
Yeah.
He started 8th, right? So he was right behind Verstappen. So he had decent pace in qualifying. I think he had decent pace in the race, but yeah, he just made some bad mistakes.
something's
unfortunately.
off about that Williams car to me, though.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. Something's just not
I mean,
right.
Albon's
Like, don't get
not
me
healthy,
wrong.
right?
Williams is going to finish in front of Aston at the moment. Going to finish in front of Kick Sauber. Racing Bulls. Who knows what's going to happen there? But then after that, I'm not sure.
Albon's
I
not
don't know.
happy, right? So it's obvious.
Where did Albon place again? In quali?
At the final,
No, in
quali.
quali.
he started 15th.
15th. So like he worked his way up the pack as well. Like he went what 15th to 12th.
He was in the
And that
top
was-
10 at one point too.
He was.
As well.
I think that was like
that
pit-
might have been the whole.
I think that was pit
pits-
strategies.
yeah.
Like, but yeah, so like honestly, I felt like he had a pretty decent race. It wasn't anything incredible. And the fact that he was able to work his way up the pack like that, in spite of, and I think he was pretty close on Yuki's tail at the end of the race.
Albon,
Yeah. And so if he didn't get
Or Kimi.
DQ'd. Oh no, he was close on Kimmy's tail then.
Yep.
Yeah,
it
because
would've
Kimmy
been
was
Kimi.
11th.
It
Yeah,
would've
yeah,
been Kimi, yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you're right. He was right on.
He
him.
was right on his
and,
tail.
Yeah, he was trying to give him the business.
And I think if he got his chance to qualify in Q2, there's a chance he could have made it into Q3, and he could have been point scoring this weekend. But the fact that he got kicked out,
It does stem back to that
It's still-
qualifying thing.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like, I think he had a pretty good showing this weekend. I don't think I would worry about Albon from this weekend. I think it's just like a bad break.
And I'm not
move on.
necessarily worried about Albon. I'm genuinely concerned about Carlos's performance in the car so far. But
I think
again,
he'll pick it
we're
up.
only 4 races in. I get that, and he's going from a Ferrari to a Williams, so that's going to be massively different. But I don't know. I'm concerned about Carlos a little bit, and it's not just because he retired. It's all so far the whole season as a group to me. It's just like not quite what I was expecting. But again, I guess I don't know what I was expecting
yeah.
out of a good driver in the Williams right now.
I want to think it's just growing pains in a bad car. I have heard from some people that this year is already kind of chalked for Williams. They're really just focusing on next year's car a little bit.
Not a bad idea.
Honestly, it's not. It just hurts to watch. But I think he'll get his points, and I think they'll have some sort of a comeback at some point. I don't think it'll be huge, but yeah, it's a little hard to watch at the moment.
I think.
Even I look like clowns putting Aston so high, huh?
Why am I
I put
forgetting
him
his-
in fifth. Yeah,
I have him in
Why-
6th.
so rough.
Why am I forgetting their team principal's name right now?
James Vowles.
James Vowles. James Vowles made a comment regarding.
Oh, I have notes.
He made a comment on Carlos this weekend saying that he was really proud of Carlos's performance. You know, the DQ is unfortunate, or the DNF is unfortunate, but you know, it happens in racing. And he said that he thinks that Carlos is doing everything that he can with the car, and that he actually said that it's on Williams to meet Carlos and to say we have not adjusted our car to him enough yet. And so because of that, he is still in an uncomfortable position. We think that he's giving the best that he can, but we haven't met him yet.
And not everything is on Carlos, right? Obviously,
Exactly, yeah.
you know, there was a turn that Kimmy, I swear to God, dive bombed Carlos, honestly, and I was like, "What, Kimmy, bro? What are we doing?"
Yeah,
I remember
some. Yeah,
yeah. All right. We'll get
for the new segment.
we'll
that
get
we're
to
doing.
that, I guess.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I just read another one that's really good. Well, I'm sure it's on your list.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, we're moving on. Racing Bulls, real quick too. I just saw another note about Red Bull that I forgot to mention. This was the first time this season that they had 2 cars starting in the top 10. That seems weird. That seems weird to me.
Wow.
Great.
That seems weird to me.
I mean, because Red Bull's like, even if the second driver isn't like meeting standards, typically start of the season they're still very competitive.
They're still up
like
there.
I mean, I think like
Sergio was
most of our
there at start of last
yeah. I mean,
season.
most of our recaps so far for the early races, Sergio has been there like
Right.
second or third.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Yep.
For sure. I just saw that. Want to mention
No, that's
that
a
real
great.
quick.
Yeah, that's a great fun fact.
Racing Bulls. Isaac had an all right day.
Man, can I vent for a second, guys?
Whoa, yeah.
Can I just say something?
So Isaac P13, Liam P16. Go for it.
And that's kind of what I want to talk about, right? So hear
He's
me out.
heated.
Yeah.
I'm heated because, like, other people are heated. I'm specifically calling out you, Mike. Right?
Hello.
Whoa.
You dislike Liam because he got into the Red Bull before Yuki, right? And that's like your main reason for like. Would you say? Like, I'll give you a moment to, like, you know, if you dislike him more than that, I'll give you a moment to say why.
And other things. Well, also, you know, there's the obvious that he kicked out he took my favorite driver's
the
seat.
whole Danny Rick thing.
There's the Danny Rick thing.
It is
There's
personal.
also
It
that.
is personal.
There's also that, but
Okay.
also the fact that I watch him drive and he feels
So
really sloppy.
so Red Bull decisions. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but he does feel sloppy.
He does
The word
feel sloppy.
Does
Okay,
go
yeah.
with Liam.
I
His
agree.
driving
agree.
is sloppy.
I was
moderate this.
I was
Thank you.
so
No problem.
so like first off, I'll just say that was all Red Bull's decision. Liam has no control over where he's being put.
Well, of
right?
course, but I'm going to point to him.
Of course, but I don't care.
Okay, fine. I liked Liam. I was rooting for him a lot to get a seat, and you remember that. I talked about it all last season. I was like, we need to get Liam in a car. Danny didn't deserve the seat when he got it taken away from him. I love Danny Rick. Did you say so? So Liam got into the
what's your
spot.
point?
Liam got to the spot, and then it was like, who's going to take the Red Bull seat? And we're all like, I mean, like, you can't pick Liam, right? Because
Right.
Yuki's the most experienced.
I know.
Right. And then
Flabbergasted.
Liam got the Red Bull seat, and I didn't dislike him. I just disliked Red Bull more, and that kind of bled into disliking Liam a little bit because it's like, why are you in the Red Bull seat if you can't drive it? Because he couldn't drive it. And then Yuki got swapped over, and I was like, okay, Liam's back into a car that he can probably handle and manage, and I can finally enjoy watching him race. What is he doing? What is Liam Lawson doing?
Joe is upset.
Sloppy.
What is he
Joe's
doing?
upset.
Why is he getting beat by a rookie Hadjar? Why? Why is that happening? Yes, he's had like in
Isaac's a
total
good
a
driver,
full
though.
season in that car. In total
Which
a
is
full
true.
season.
He has.
It has been
That's
broken
true.
up, so he hasn't been able to like really like hone in on how the car works for a long period of time. But he's driven an F1 car for the length of a season before. So why is he struggling so much in a V car, which is like not a bad car, right?
And losing to Jack Doohan in an Alpine.
Why?
I just wanted to see his reaction.
Liam Lawson He got a 10-second penalty. He got a 5-second penalty for causing a collision with Stroll, and then he got another
Sloppy.
10-second penalty for causing.
Sloppy.
Who did he cause a
Sloppy.
collision with for the second time?
Hulk.
Hulkenberg.
Hulkenberg, yeah.
What is happening?
Which isn't the first time he's hit Hulkenberg either.
Like, why? I understand the car
Kick
is.
Sauber fan over here.
Well, we're
getting
looking at
upset.
him in a Red Bull, right? And we're like, the car's really bad, and he's also new, right? Yuki's obviously going to
wish.
do better because Yuki's way more experienced, by tenfold more experienced.
Agreed.
Put Lawson back in. He should at least be able to. My expectation for Lawson is to be better than Hadjar, and he's not.
Yep.
Why? Why is that happening?
He's running out of time.
And I just want to be clear.
His F1 clock is running out of time.
He is not at the
Already.
top of, like, nowhere near the top of my favorite drivers list by any means. But he's also not at the bottom. Like, I don't. So I'm not trying to like root for him a ton, but like I think he deserved a chance and he's squandering it. You know, it's just it's so disappointing to see. Like he cannot.
But it's not like
cannot
everybody.
compete.
Not everybody pans out though, right?
You're totally
you
right.
know what I mean?
But like it's.
But I
just
get
feel like
the questioning. Like why? Why? though?
maybe he was overhyped. Maybe it just was said so much that it was like Liam needs a chance. We need to give Liam a chance. He did pretty okay when he subbed in for Danny that one time. He deserves the chance. Let's get him in there. And then he's finally get the chance, and it's just disappointing.
So, really quick, has Isaac? Do you know off the top of your noggins? Has Isaac won? I thought he won an F2 championship. No,
I'll double check.
he did not.
He did not.
But he was
win.
up there.
He was up there. He was second to Gabriel Bortoleto last year in Formula
Bortoleto
2.
won F2.
Bortoleto
last
won
year.
F2 last year.
What about the year before that?
That
know?
wouldn't matter if he won the year before that. He couldn't have driven last year.
No, last year was the second year of F2.
It was, but I'm
Isaac.
saying
Yeah,
he
Isaac.
couldn't have won. He couldn't have won Formula 2.
Oh, that's true.
Because
If you win it, you can't drive it anymore.
exactly.
If you win F2, you can't drive in
Yep.
F2 anywhere.
Champions aren't allowed to win. Aren't allowed to continue driving in F2. That's why you see
So
F2
then
champions.
what? So then you never pan, and if you
Reserve
don't pan
driver,
out right
baby.
away in F1, that's it, huh?
reserve driver.
I
Baby.
did not know that. If you win a championship in F2,
Why do you think
can't keep
Dale
winning.
Porcher has been a reserve driver for the last 5 years?
Like, how many reserve drivers can a team have? Just one, right? Or do they have multiples?
At
Some-
least.
Well, I
I
suppose
don't know.
one per seat, right? that would make sense.
So there have been drivers that are reserve drivers for multiple
We're going on a
different
tangent,
teams.
by the way,
True.
but
So I don't know if a team can have many reserve drivers.
Right.
But I do know that many teams can share the same reserve driver. Like Haas had Behrman, and so did Ferrari last year.
right.
Right.
You know,
Right?
you know
But
the,
anyway, where I was going with that, sorry, what's up?
the Japanese driver for Alpine, the reserve driver. I forget his name. Hideo something.
Can't remember.
He actually just moved to Haas as their reserve driver.
Oh.
So that just popped into my mind. Sorry.
Oh, fun fact.
But Liam never won F2, so that's what I that's what I was
Hadjar
wondering.
won 4 races and logged 4 more podium finishes than Bortoleto. He missed out on the title because he stalled at the last race. His car stalled on the last race.
Oh my gosh.
It was
He's-
I guess it was a huge
he's,
nail biter.
Unofficial champion. If,
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter.
Because I was
but,
gonna,
like,
I swear he would have won, but because I didn't know that Bortoleto ended up winning because I was
Mm-hmm.
I was actually keeping track of their standings all year because we didn't know who was gonna be in the seat, right?
Yep.
So, dang, yeah, that's crazy.
So now I want to
but
look at
but
how
Liam has
Lawson
not won
did.
an F2
I'm checking right
championship, so
now.
that's why I checked.
he has not.
He didn't, so that's why I was curious.
He came in 3rd
Liam,
in 2022, I believe.
okay,
I'm gonna check the fandom.
check the fan. Anyway, while he's doing that, Kick Sauber, Hulkenberg, DNF, Bortoleto, P18.
Yep.
Kick Sauber's not doing hot. Hulk ended up getting DQ'd because of the excessive skid plate wear again. I think that's the second time he's been DQ'd for that same thing.
No, last time was Ferrari.
That was Haas, wasn't
As
it?
far
No, it was
as-
Oh, it was
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Yep.
No, there's somebody else too. There's 2 drivers that got.
it
It was both the Ferrari.
No, it wasn't.
No,
Wasn't
it was.
No, it was
a
one Ferrari and then another car.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Was it
It was
Alpine?
Alpine.
Pierre?
It was Pierre. Yeah, it was Pierre.
Pierre. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because both Ferraris got disqualified, but for
So
different
never mind.
reasons.
Sorry,
Yep,
Hulk.
you're right.
First time. I thought it was second time. Confusing you with Pierre. My mistake.
Crazy.
How good-
Crazy
I know.
confusion.
I know. All I put for Aston, honestly, you guys jump in. Alonso P15, Lance P17. I just put straight fecal matter.
Why am I
crazy.
Why am
Where
I
did-
so stupid?
Like,
Where
him
did
in
I
fifth.
put them again? That's
Put
so
him in fifth.
weird.
I don't. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, Lance,
don't know what's going
out of
on.
everybody, Lance gave me hope to start the season because he was like
It seemed like he was
actually
revitalized,
somewhat
you know?
okay.
And then he got to Japan and he got to this race and
then
it was like, oh, okay, never mind.
And
it's
now
Lance
he's lancing
Stroll.
some more,
Yeah.
and it's just
We'll put a pin
know.
in this and come back to it, huh?
now
I have
Lance is
news.
getting Alonso to Lance, so it's like, what the heck is going on?
I want to like because all of our watchers are thinking this, right? I
Yeah.
want to like I don't
Well,
think I did not
100K
think Aston
subscribers,
Martin.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think Aston Martin was going to do well because they have like Newey. I didn't think that at all. I just was like,
I thought they were
top
just
5
gonna-
was going to be hard. I was like, top 5 is going to be what it was last year. Aston will somehow pull it out somewhere. It's whatever.
Yeah, I just
They
thought
might
they'd-
just be focusing for next year.
I thought
honestly.
they would
totally are,
honestly
yeah.
bounce off of what everything last year. Like they were literally, again, I always said there was 1 through 4, and then there was 6 through everybody else, and Aston was just 5
Yeah,
by
I
themselves.
was like, Aston will do what Aston does. They will copy another team, and then they will get top 5. That's just how it
I
works.
feel like
We're idiots.
I feel like right now Newey is just whispering into Lawrence's ear, like, "Hey, so we're just gonna throw this season away. Just don't worry about it. Next season, if we come in dead last, we don't care. That means we get more wind tunnel for next year. That means more wind tunnel. That means I get to develop the car more."
God.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I suppose
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So straight from Mike's mouth, Aston is sandbagging to get more tunnel time so they can come out strong in 26.
I'm beached.
Dang it. Let's see. We have Bahrain tech issues up here. Obviously,
yeah.
George Russell DRS.
George Russell's DRS. Hold on. Where are the notes that I made? George Russell's DRS and just general
gotta
car
fly through
issues. They said. You mentioned it. He was told that, hey, if your screen goes off, just keep driving as normally.
Still works.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red Bull had pit issues that made both of their drivers have longer pit times. Their release
the light wasn't working.
It was
That's
not
right.
working.
Yep.
So they stayed
That's
for
right.
an extra second and a half longer inside their pits, maybe even 2 seconds. It was
it was
a
a
long
lot.
pit. And then we saw on the broadcast timing tower issues. Specifically, Russell was having a lot of issues. So I took it that Russell's car was just messing with everything, and it kept on sending him to the back, and so timing looked really bad, and so they had to keep going. One site that I was reading, I think it was motorsport.com, was saying that there was a transponder issue that was just messing with everything on the track. Either way,
Okay.
It's just weird
Yeah,
that it
weird
all
tech
happened.
stuff
It all
going
happened
on.
at the same time. It was like a DRS, and then the timing tower, and then also Red Bull. It was
You
like,
got something else coming
yeah.
up?
Do you have something, Dad?
He's
Yeah,
still
go-
wearing
please
the
go
hat.
for it,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Well, I had a great take. So, for this exact thing, I found out F1 just got a new lifetime supplier, which is like a
As
new
of, like,
company
today?
as of this year.
Oh, okay.
And
Interesting.
this new lifetime
Not a good
supplier
look.
is like the people who are doing like the animations on their
Production,
scenes and everything.
essentially.
Their production, yeah, exactly, and is also keeping track of the times and whatnot. The problems that the drivers were having, that might have been something different. But like where we saw like it said replay when we were actually watching live race, that's because of these guys. They're new new producers
Lifetime
and stuff like that.
supplier. Interesting.
That's what
Okay.
the content creator I was watching that's what he called it. I don't
Okay.
know if that's the proper term for it. Or
Yeah,
not,
because
but-
I would imagine obviously the times are transmitted by these transponders, and then they're made to look pretty for the broadcast for us,
Exactly.
and that's what the
For sure.
production team does.
For sure.
I mean, it makes sense that they were new because it's not the first time we've seen issues.
Yep.
The first race was also pretty bad with the tower,
Yep.
and just with like what they were showing us. So it makes sense that it was new and that they're going through growing pains. And you're gonna get people angry, like I can't believe, like where's my timing tower and stuff. It's like I'm giving grace this time because there's obviously something wrong at the track,
Right.
Like, I mean, there are too many weird things happening where it's like there's got to be something electrical happening, Yeah,
It's probably
Hey,
IndyCar
maybe.
drivers
maybe,
sabotaging because they can't handle it.
very possibly.
Let's see. Driver of the day tidbit.
Yeah, so I think there's also something wrong with the driver of the day voting because
ended up getting driver of the day?
Lewis Hamilton.
No.
Yeah,
I
so-
didn't
can
even
you
know
believe that?
That's not even. Nah.
And I have the breakout. I
mean, it's
I
been
love
his
that they
best
give us
race
the
of the
they give us
year,
the
but-
breakout of who got the most percentages, the top 5. It was Lewis with 29.6, and then it was Oscar 14.1,
'Kay,
which
fair.
makes sense,
race winner.
and then it was Charles with 7.8,
No.
and then it was Lando
No.
with
What?
6.7. and then it was Pierre with 6.5.
Okay.
Behrman not in the top 5.
Scuderia is
that's bull.
just bombing the
That's
charts.
bull. Don't get me wrong. I think Pierre
But then we
should
saw
at least
Kimi
got a vote,
Antonelli
but-
that one race, and
Yeah, I
like
don't
he
know.
was not doing anything.
Yeah, I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
it's
is
very
weird.
odd.
Oliver should
Very,
win.
very odd. So I'm almost like, I haven't looked into this, but I'm almost like convinced there's like a subreddit somewhere that's like, all right, this is what we're gonna
Guys
do
who
for
are
the
really
driver
good.
of the day this time around.
It's like
they're just trolling.
It's like the GameStop stocks all over again.
yeah,
We
exactly.
know something crazy is happening when we see Lance Stroll up there. We're like, okay, there's a subreddit somewhere.
Yeah,
like,
something's not. All right. Let's fly through this the new seg.
Yeah, let's
The
do it.
comms. What
We
got?
don't have any.
We don't have a transition yet. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had already mentioned this, but Antonelli made a pass on, I think it was Sainz.
Carlos, yeah.
Sainz. And it was essentially just a full on dive bomb. If Sainz was
Yes.
not a like experienced driver and did not see it coming,
It would've both been
would have been a
wrecked.
big crash.
Yep.
Brundle called what he did a bit of a hospital pass, which I thought was hilarious. Yeah, it was super funny.
That's
we had that Will,
hilarious.
a Will Buxton moment that I mentioned earlier in qualifying. Russell, after he had pit for softs at the safety car, said 23 laps on softs. This is pretty audacious. But he made it stick, so that was great. Hamilton, this tire sucks. Talking about the hards, I believe.
Yep.
Which was a common
trend.
theme.
Yep.
for
And then I
everybody.
have the engineer to George. George, there's a chance we lose the dash. Just keep driving normal as that happens. And then Russell, as long as the wheel doesn't fall off. And those are my my top picked comments or radio messages. Russell also having gear issues on lap 52, five laps before the end. He says gears are explicitive. What is going on?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
those are my radio messages. So a good amount came out of this race. Nothing like hilarious or crazy, but a couple nice ones.
I only had a couple interesting ones, like information wise, and then whatever. Let's see. This was just a personal one for me. Lap 30, Vowles for Williams came on and said, we don't quite have the pace of the Alpine. Like, said it on the broadcast. I was like, no, you don't, sir. So that made me feel good. Let's see. Lando, they were talking to Lando. George is worried about the soft tire, and Lando said, I don't think he should be. It's a good tire.
Yep.
I thought that was interesting, considering teams know what other teams are saying because they're getting broadcasted,
Yep.
So I was like, so you just kind of help them out a little.
It
you
is,
know what I mean?
it's interesting
I
that
was
you're
like, that's kinda
commenting on
weird.
someone else's tire like that.
Yeah,
But
I thought that was just different. I haven't seen that yet, so
maybe it was maybe it was like a passive aggressive remark, like
maybe.
cut softs.
yeah, I don't know.
That's a good point.
Maybe. And then there's another one to Lando. They were like, remember to use drink. He said, I would if it was working.
Oh, that was Piastri, I think.
Yeah,
right?
that
Oh, was
Oscar.
it Piastri? Oh, I thought it was Lando.
Yeah.
That's-
Remember to use drink. What if I was working? And he said, well, you have this many laps left.
yeah, good answer. And then there's one more. Charles early in the race. These brakes are so inconsistent. It's so annoying. And like the way he said so, I was like, oh, God, Charles, don't stop whining. God, this is so annoying. But anyway, those were the only comms I got other than Max saying everything is overheating on lap 21. I was like, oh, boy. But, yeah. Yeah. Did you catch any other comms?
Nope.
All right. He said, nope.
You can take out the hat now. It's okay.
Unless he's got some in news, which will you go to right now?
We're gonna keep this close by.
News, Kev. Boom. Let's see. Well, to start off our news, I don't have anything, but Mike's got a couple things quick,
Yeah.
and then we'll get into Joe's
I
here.
got one thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. So the first thing that I wanted to bring up, I don't have too much to go over on it, but it was just kind of interesting. It's got a lot of people looking at what's going on. The FIA's vice president just abruptly stepped down over the weekend. Basically just said, I'm done. I guess the FIA's notice that they got from him was literally, or the first notice they got was a post on Instagram. He posted on Instagram before even letting the FIA know. He put a post out and then proceeded to let them know, I'm stepping down. And so the FIA was like, oh, so this is crazy. And now a bunch of people are like, because there's been other people who have been walking out from the FIA and like pretty high value people.
Is there something internal going on? Well, there probably always is.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna look for. I want to see what he said because that's interesting.
Yeah.
I can no longer, in good faith, remain involved in an organization that no longer respects the values I defend. Is part of what he wrote.
Yep. Yeah.
And like the summary,
What values?
the summary is that the FIA is going through another internal crisis. He announced his immediate resignation, citing a loss of confidence in the way the institution is currently run.
Whoa.
Yep. So
About MSB.
gotta love that. So that's got a lot of people looking at the FIA right now. So expect to hear more news about V10 soon.
They will not be happening.
Oh yeah, but it's just MSB's way of diverting attention.
Trying to, yeah.
The other thing, I think you probably have something similar, but this isn't like official news, but it's like a lot of rumblings that are going around that like there's been a lot of talk about Max having a performance clause in his contract with Red Bull. And a lot of people are talking about the potential of Max leaving Red Bull to potentially go to a different team and whatnot.
Oh.
And actually, Christian Horner...
Can't amend the clause, probably. I would
Christian
imagine.
Horner was asked about a
Can you
performance
amend the
clause after the race of people basically being like, does Max have any sort of a performance clause and are you worried about it? And Christian Horner goes, every driver on the grid has some sort of performance clause. And really wouldn't say anything more about it. But there's a lot of people who are making some speculations. Either, he could, if Red Bull just isn't working out, he could leave at pretty much any time if the Red Bull isn't working. He's expecting to be a father, so he could just take some time off and go race his child and do sim racing like he wants to do.
He wants to do.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. And he already says he doesn't want to race. Like, when they were talking about Lewis Hamilton's age last year and they asked him, he's like, no, I don't want to race that long.
Yeah.
I have no interest in doing that.
Or
so maybe he is just going to call it quit.
Or there's the potential, the big buzz is people are thinking that we could see him moving over to Aston.
To Haas, yeah, I know.
No, to Aston.
No,
Oh, gosh. Haas doesn't deserve him. I'm sorry. They also can't afford him. He's outside their payroll.
To Aston, though, is interesting. If you had Max, Fernando, and Newey all in the same building, that's crazy talk.
That's
and
wicked
Stroll's
lineup.
money and his new and the partner's money, it's just that's crazy.
Yep. That's a pretty crazy lineup. So no official news. I'm just kind of curious.
Keep the hat
You're
on the
giving me a
ground.
look.
I don't think that one deserves the hat. Just
I'm
keep
kind
it
of
on
curious
the
what you guys think about it, though.
Oh, I'd love to
give me
tell
a
you what I
look.
think about it.
Yeah.
I don't have enough fingers on my hand to tell you how many times I've seen that stupid headline pop up.
Same.
Every
Don't even
single
say
time Red Bull is a little bit bad in a race,
Max could
leave Red Bull.
He could leave.
We've seen it so many times. I feel like we brought it up a lot last year, even
for
in
sure,
this
for
room.
sure, for sure,
So
for
like
sure.
I just like it's like
You're just done with the crying wolf.
I'm sure if
Max
Max
leaving.
wants to go somewhere, he'll go somewhere. He's not going to go somewhere though. Like
I think the biggest reason why people are more interested or are super interested in it now is because back then people were talking, what if we get to the point of the performance clause? And now we're reaching the point of we're starting to get close to a performance clause. Like there's a lot of talk.
Just for Stappen.
Max, I think
don't-
Max stays in the
know.
car. I actually agree. I mean, if you asked me 2 years ago, I would have never said Lewis is going to Ferrari. So, like, I'll keep that in mind. But I do see Max stopping for a year to raise his kid, have some
And then
parental
coming
time,
back,
and
though.
then
You
maybe
think he
coming
would
back.
come back, though, if he would
Maybe,
have
yeah.
I
take
don't
a
know.
break?
I think
I feel like that's tough.
Max has proved that he is. Even if people don't want to say it, he's one of the greatest of all time.
Yep,
for sure.
Straight up.
For sure.
I'd love to see him in some other racing disciplines. I just want to
Sure,
see him
yeah.
dominate. Like that'd be sick. Like
Yeah.
put him in a sports car, put him to Indy. Like
Yeah,
see what he
yeah,
can
yeah,
do.
for sure.
Let him do what he wants to do. Really, like at the end of the day, he should be doing what he wants to do. If he wants to keep racing F1, he's always got a seat. Someone will
For
take
sure.
him.
Somebody's
Oh,
going to take him.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he will. Like, I actually don't think he's going to take a year off. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to be with Red Bull for a while. At least until his contract is over. I don't think he's going to outright leave.
Okay.
But I think when his contract is nearing it, he could retire. I think that's possible.
Sure.
Why
sure.
not? Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
He's got a long contract, like into 2030, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like
Yes.
that.
It's
He's
very
got a long
It's very
contract. So
With,
2028 maybe.
with,
but
with,
yeah.
with that, Kev, let's head right into our Saudi Arabia preview.
And I am here to bring you up to speed for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the Jeddah circuit coming up this weekend.
Jeddah.
I'm very excited about Jeddah. I love Jeddah. I
like
love Bahrain as
racing
well.
it on the game.
Also, a very, this is kind of nice at the start of the season, but we had some really early ones for us people in the U.S. Jeddah and Bahrain, fairly reasonable times to
Yeah,
watch.
for
I
sure.
think Jeddah's a little earlier than
For sure, yeah.
than Bahrain.
Yeah, let's clap
we
for
don't have
that.
to stay up
Let's
until
clap for that.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. for China or whatever. Jeez.
Jeddah, very fast track. This year, the Formula One STC Saudi Arabian Grand Prix 2025. As always, fun fact, this is the fastest street circuit and the one track with the most corners, which is interesting because it looks like a very straight line for most of it, but there's all those little small ones that give it all its corners. Looking at last year's race, it's lights out, and both Red Bulls get an amazing start off the line. Sergio immediately fighting.
Sorry.
Salute.
That came out of nowhere. Usually there's two, so.
You sneezed
Just
because
keep-
I said Sergio.
Yeah.
I said
Quit saying his name.
You're right. He who shall not be named immediately fighting Charles for second place. They go too wide at the first set of corners, but Charles is able to maintain second as they get to turn 4. Despite some side-by-side racing through the first lap, the top 6 keep their places, the McLarens following the 2 front rows. They don't keep these positions for long, however, as Oscar takes 4th from Fernando by the end of the starting straight on lap 2, and Perez makes a similar move on Charles, taking the second podium position away from the Monegasque driver. The camera following... I got to actually set this up. Picture this. The camera following Ollie Behrman, his first race in F1, subbing in for a sick Carlos Sainz. But he is not the action point of the shot, no. 2 places ahead, we watch none other than Lance Stroll tap the inside of 23, immediately breaking his steering, going straight into the barriers, firmly planting himself as a fixture into the wall. Boom! His engineer asks him if he can bring it back home, to which he replies, "No, I hit the wall."
That's right.
This brings out a safety car and triggers a wave of pits from the grid. From the grid. I'm so sorry. From the grid. Amid the chaos of almost everyone pitting during the safety car, Perez releases right in front of Fernando, who visibly has to brake to not hit the Red Bull, ultimately gifting Sergio a 5-second penalty. I said Sergio. Yeah, Sergio a 5-second penalty. The McLarens, who opted not to pit both cars to avoid the double stack, instead only pit Oscar, leaving Lando to lead the pack on the safety car restart. Oscar in sixth begins battling with Charles in 6th. Oscar in 7th begins battling with Charles in 6th, but ultimately keeps his place after the first few corners. We watch Mike's boy K-Mag turn into the Williams of Albon, their wheels locking together for a moment and taking some bits off of Albon's front wing. K-Mag gets a 10-second penalty for causing a collision. All the while, Behrman takes 11th away from Tsunoda, now fighting for 10th place, held by Zhou in the kick. On lap 13, Max Verstappen takes the lead from Norris at the end of the starting straight, and Perez replicates the move on Hamilton to field the final podium position. Lap 15, Charles also makes the move on Lewis for 4th at the end of that straight. 6 laps later, Behrman takes his place in 9th after overtaking the Haas of Hulkenberg. This is not the end of Haas's woes, as K-Mag takes another 10-second penalty, this time for leaving the track on an overtake and gaining an advantage on Tsunoda. As a bit of defiance, and to protect Hulkenberg in 10th, K-Mag defends his position harshly from Tsunoda, who attempts to take it on lap 29.
I do
but
remember that.
Yeah, but is boxed out by the Haas driver, sending Tsunoda back and under pressure for Ocon, who takes Tsunoda's place in the kerfuffle. Further up the grid, we watch Oscar
Do you use
Piastri.
kerfuffle every week?
I try.
That's I was
the
gonna
second-
say
this
you
is the
tend to work
second,
it in there. That's pretty
this is
good.
the second one I think I worked it in there. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to use gaggle too.
Gaggle's good.
Yeah.
Further up the grid, we watch Oscar Piastri take 5th place from Lewis Hamilton on lap 35, 4 seconds behind his teammate Lando. Unfortunately, the next corner, Oscar does lock up and has to go wide, forfeiting the place back to Lewis. Lap 48, we see Danny Rick take too much curb and go spinning round and round, cementing his 16th place in the Grand Prix.
Too much
2
curb.
laps later, the checkered flag is waved for Max, about 9 seconds ahead of his teammate, with another 10 seconds to third. Our finals: Verstappen to Perez, Leclerc to Piastri, Alonso to Russell, Behrman to Norris, and Hamilton to Hulkenberg.
So Sergio Hachu was still finishing second.
He was,
Like
yeah.
that.
The early Red Bull is no longer, right?
Yeah, right.
No longer.
What?
So
He started adjusting his
I-
Haas hat.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of K-Mag
There was
highlights in
There's a
there.
lot of K-Mag, there's a lot of Bearman. Yeah.
I started pointing at the number 20 on my hat. I was
But-
like, that's my goal.
K-Mag, yeah. But yeah, I mean, to like,
But I do remember him blocking.
he was defending
Sonoda.
Hulkenberg.
Yeah,
Yeah. He
that
was
was
like
awesome.
hard defending his teammate. So like he was.
Because Yuki probably would have got Hulk too.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was like forcing Sonoda back, and
Yeah,
like he,
yeah.
completely ruined his race. But like he did his job as a teammate. So
Let's see. So Joe last week got the most points from Bahrain.
Okay.
let's go.
He went Oscar, Lando, Max. The podium went Oscar, George, Lando. So Joe ends up with 3 points, getting the correct race winner. Good job, Joe.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Why are you clapping?
We'll put the. Actually, we should put a laugh track in there right there, like from the 90s. Yeah, whatever.
We're just gonna cut that laugh and put that.
No, that was horrible. I didn't even try. All right. And then Mike and me both tying with 2 points. Mike's podium being Lando, Oscar, Max. Getting. Yeah, all right. Sorry. I didn't even see it.
He was there for a moment.
Yeah. I was like, is he trying to
that
punch me? And oh, yeah. Yeah,
Fix it in
anyway.
post.
So us, whatever, getting points because Oscar and Lando were in there. And then me because of Oscar and George.
I hate to say it. There was like a moment where I was like, I kind of hope George gets a penalty at the end.
That would have been rude.
And then I thought about it, and I was like, he really deserves that podium. Though.
Yeah, he sure does.
So
Yes, sir. It's me first.
I'll take the
anyway.
3 points.
So yeah, right,
you don't want 'em, they
right.
can-
So our standings right now, Smelty at 12, who's leading,
Still.
which is crazy, who didn't lead on any of the shows last year. So keeping that one close to the heart. Joe in second with 10. Mike sitting in third at 9, one behind Joe. If you're not on YouTube, Joe is giving Mike the loser sign on the forehead. You know, the shape of an L on the forehead.
I'm just doing my best to be like my team.
Nice. Yeah, right. Anyway, dang, that's bogus. Anyway, I guess I gotta go first because I'm leading again. Sorry, fellas. I'm gonna go from 3 to 1.
Ooh,
Spicy!
Yep,
I don't
I'm
know
gonna
why
go
I'm
from 3
excited.
to 1. Charles is 3.
Interesting.
Yep.
Oscar is 2.
Yep.
Interesting.
This is gonna mess you guys up.
Pierre Gasly.
No, George Russell is winning this weekend in Jeddah.
Okay.
It's gonna be a crazy race.
Did you
So
hit
you-
your head?
You are not putting
remember when I did the L?
You are not putting Oscar Piastri on the podium.
Oscar's second.
Oh, so you're
I'm
not
sorry.
putting Lando Norris on the podium.
Lando is 4th. Yep, correct.
Wow.
Yep, correct.
I'm
Got to
looking
take
at-
chances. You know what I mean?
You're right. It is me now because you're last.
Because I'm dead last, so I get to wait
Dang.
for you.
You're right. George is a crazy first,
I know.
but he's not
It's
crazy
not
for
gonna
the
happen.
podium.
It's
I'm
gonna be
like,
one of the two papayas.
This is an
most
incredibly
likely, right?
incredibly fast track.
Yes.
Fairly technical as well. Both of the McLarens are in my podium because they're the fastest car at the moment.
But I almost put Lando winning, which would have put George in third and bumped
But
Charles.
he's not
to
even
fourth.
in the. But he's not even in your podium.
Nope, he's in 4th. I decided.
Do you think something's going to happen to Lando? Maybe it's possible.
He's just gonna get lost in the shuffle. It's gonna be a bad start, and he's not gonna recover this race.
Piastri
Last week's gonna be stuck in his head.
Piastri did do well.
Oscar is potentially the fastest car on the grid right now.
Oscar is first.
Locked.
Yep.
Lando is second.
Okay,
right.
that makes sense. That tracks. Lewis Hamilton.
No,
Oh, whoa.
That's crazy.
Not Lando in
Lando
second?
is third.
Lando is third. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
We're shaking it up.
Wait a minute.
So I'm between, just so I can think out loud, I am between Max and George, I think.
This is fair. That's
I
why
think
Charles
I'm
will
going
do
the
it.
statistic route. They're the two that have
So
gotten
Max
on the
said
podium.
You were going to do
George.
it.
So you're gonna
You
go
said you were
George.
going to do it.
I think I'll go George. Yeah.
Whoa.
We'll go George.
Hey-o. Hey, he's
The
scoring
thing
points.
is, like, this
He's
is such a
scoring
fast
points
track.
in our
I
standings
don't know
this
if
year,
like
so.
McLarens are like really good on the straight line, or like the fast corners. I'm pretty sure McLarens are though. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll stick. I'll lock that.
All
That's
right, Oscar, George, Lando in that order.
good. You are. No, you did it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm super prepared
Trust me, I
for
thought
this.
I did it on the wrong one too, but
So, historically, Oscar has been super fast on this track, super freaking fast on this track, and super good, and especially when that McLaren has been a boat over the last couple years. At the beginning of last year, the McLaren was very slow, and yet Oscar was super close to the podium. So I'm putting Oscar to win this race, and it'll be by a margin, like a pretty large margin.
If he starts in first, yeah, he's going away.
I think he's
not-
starting in first. Yep. In second place, I am putting Jorge.
Oh, you guys are
Rusal.
starting to believe in George. He's not going to get the podium
I
this
think
week,
George
now
is
watch.
fast. I think George is good on some of these technical tracks.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Who's your third?
Charles.
Who's my third? And in third place,
Charles.
another driver who we've seen notoriously good on this track, so not Lando Norris,
Not Lando
Max
Norris.
Verstappen.
Yeah.
is going to be Charles Leclerc.
Charles,
Interesting. I like
yes.
that.
I stated earlier that Charles Leclerc has been inching closer to that podium, and Charles Leclerc is notoriously very good on street tracks and has been notoriously good on Jeddah specifically. And I think that this is probably going to be the first weekend we see Ferrari on the podium.
So you
copied
two
me,
have the
though.
same podium.
We do have the.
and
But
I'm
it's
the only
flipped.
one that picked Lando.
Yep.
That's
I'm kind of
interesting.
upset that he set this podium because I had this podium planned like 3 days ago.
Sure.
But I'm crazy for George winning.
I honestly don't hate Charles. I actually like thinking back. You know, when I made my predictions 30 seconds ago, Charles might be a better pick
Thinking
over
back.
George, but the Ferrari hasn't been there, and the Mercedes is very
Which is fair.
surprising.
Which is fair. The
My,
Ferrari has yet to really show up.
I'm hoping Lando just like
My big take, and that is why Lando isn't on the podium this weekend, is we've seen that the McLaren is not great in dirty air, especially in corners. You put that McLaren into corners, into dirty air, and that McLaren struggles. And so
and at least
I
one
think
of the
you see
McLarens have to be in dirty air.
exactly. That was my logic. And Oscar being as fast as he is on this track, I think Oscar is going to excel and put himself on pole position. And then Lando is going to struggle because he's going to be in dirty air the entire time. Meanwhile, you see drivers like George,
We
who
might
is
have a new
a
pole
good
sitter
car.
this week.
That's possible.
We might have a new pole sitter this week.
But we see George, who's been very fast and very good and very consistent, and Charles Leclerc, who is notoriously good on this track. So,
I don't
The
hate
double knee slap.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was crazy. It was. I just want to say that was crazy. You just did that, but I do not hate your guys' podiums. I would like to see some more variety up front. As long as one of my boys are up there, go for it. We're so far in constructors right now. I'm not worried.
I do also want to point out that if something else that I jotted this down and we didn't mention when we talked about McLaren earlier, Oscar was 3 laps away from having a Grand Slam this last race, which is
leading the entire thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
pole position, fastest lap, leading the lap for every single leading the race for every single lap.
Max has definitely done that. He's not the first.
Max has done it 5 times.
How
Only
five?
five times.
Okay, who's
It is.
Wow.
who
it
else
is-
has done it? Do you know?
Oh, there's been plenty of other
Okay,
drivers.
okay.
Lewis Hamilton has done it
Okay.
before.
Oh,
And
that makes
obviously, people like Michael Schumacher and Senna have
But
all
Max
done it.
only
But,
5
like,
times when he had that such a
Exactly.
dominating season. It's
That is-
kind of wild to think about, to be honest.
And that's another thing that's got me so like, holy cow, Oscar is crazy. That like it's his 3rd year and he almost had a Grand Slam. 3 laps, he missed it by 3 laps. And there's only a handful of drivers who have Grand
That's when he
Slams.
pit first time. yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, pitting. I didn't.
Yep. So he almost had a Grand Slam this weekend, and Lando's never had a Grand Slam.
No.
No, I mean no, because the
Hasn't
car's
even
only
really
good-
been
the-
in that conversation.
Yeah, the car's only really good this year. Like,
Lando's
you
never
you
even
need to-
been
You need to
close.
pull
And the second half.
Well, you
of
need to
last year.
pull like time.
Yep.
You need to either be the last to pit, or you need to pull like hard time in front.
You gotta be like 25 seconds in front.
Yeah,
And that
Well,
might
I
not
mean,
even.
I mean, like, yes. You need to be. Yeah, you're actually right. You need to be 25 seconds in front, or you need to pit last, like
Yeah.
when everyone else is already pit, and then you are 25 seconds in front. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
So
That's interesting.
yeah, good fun. Good
Anyway.
fun. He almost got it.
Anyway.
It's going to be
you
sad when
almost
Max
had it.
wins.
Oh man,
He will
man.
too. Watch.
he might,
And then
yeah.
we're all
I think
idiots.
I think he very well could.
Then we lose our 10 followers.
Yeah, it's he very well could be on the podium. This is a super technical track, and Max is probably the best driver on the grid right now. So
I get some pretty decent points if Lando's there though, and I think Lando will be there. So.
okay, interesting.
Stop.
Stop, you scallywag. Anyway, Mike, thanks for being here, brother.
I was happy to be here.
Yeah,
I
good,
yapped.
good,
I put on the hat.
Good. You didn't get stuck loading a late truck?
Nope.
Or unloading? Which one? Either
Unloading typically.
one. Unloading. Oh, well. Thank God.
Hooray.
So we're always
Thank you for
happy to
being
have
here.
you.
Yeah.
And Haas was at double points this week, so that's
Looking
BA.
forward to
You're very
Haas.
quickly proving us wrong.
Yeah,
Looking
very,
forward to
very
Haas
nice.
scoring again next weekend.
I just want you to know the moment that they start to falter, we're coming at you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Are you kidding me? With how outlandish I've been.
Fifth?
I won't be.
Where'd your fifth go, huh?
Fifth?
Williams could take it back. The two of them are like.
Williams is. We're already so full. I could talk about this for another 10 minutes.
I could talk about this for another 2 hours.
Williams is not going to come. I don't think Williams is going to get fifth this year. I think they're just going to keep kind of floating around seventh ish. So, which is sad because I want them to get fifth. And Aston is. I'm so chalked in terms of Aston. I'm so chalked.
Chalked.
It's all over.
All right.
Smelty, thank you for being here.
Whoa,
Smelty.
whoa, hey, whoa!
Hey.
I didn't say you first.
No, I
Thank
feel
you
like
for being here, Joe.
We never bring it up.
Thank you for
Kevin, thank you
having
for
me.
being here.
Yeah,
We,
yeah.
we actually
Kev,
bring it up
thanks
a lot.
for being
but
here.
Thank you, Kev.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we shouldn't.
We appreciate
I just
you.
want to be clear. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but like we have said it before.
Thank you.
Thank God.
Joe's like, oh, I gotta go.
My mom's here. I don't have to be here anymore.
Oh my God!
Being
With-
so mean to me.
With that, obviously, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe wherever you listen to the banter, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or of course now on iHeartRadio as well.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, next week. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we will see you next week. I'm fairly confident about that.
Fairly confident.
I'm
yeah.
about 50% confident about that. That we'll
That's-
be here next week.
That's
more
good,
than
'cause
zero.
That's like because we will or we won't, and that's easy.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There we go, Kev. There we go. Let's get out of here.
Adios.
Peace.
Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. Tune in next time for more Banter with the Boys.